Welcome back to Whisky Wednesday. I'm Joe, and it's the review a lot of you have been waiting for, the George T. Stagg. So let me just pour it. And I come from Birmingham in the UK, as many of you might know, and I'm reviewing this because on the 4th of July, Independence Day, the Birmingham Whisky Club are having a bourbon specialist tasting. So if you're in the UK and you want to taste some really good bourbons and meet some whiskey-loving people, definitely recommend coming to the 4th of July event, Taste some Bourbon. I'll put a link to the Birmingham Whisky Club in the description below, so check that out. You can buy tickets there. So the George T. Stagg, it is a Kentucky straight bourbon from the Buffalo Trace Distillery. And very, very special. It's a small batch bourbon. And to make a bourbon, they have to use at least 51% corn content. The other content can be made up of rye and barley and wheat. This is also uncut, which means I haven't added any water, and it's also barrel proof. The other two things that I need to make a bourbon is it has to be at least 2 years aged in a new oak barrel, American oak, and the barrel has to be charred. This one is around 15 years old. So to have something that's uncut, natural colouring, barrel proof, cask strength even, it's an old bourbon. So yeah, George T. Stagg, very, very special whiskey. It's won so many awards. It's one of Jim Murray's favourite whiskey. Jim Murray is a huge whiskey writer, one of the main whiskey reviewers. It won recently the best American whiskey in the world at the World Whiskey Awards, and just a host of other really, really serious accolades and awards and medals. It's not cheap. It's about £115 for a bottle. A lot of people buy it, including myself, because it has a reputation and also it has a strength. 71.4%, you should hopefully be able to see it there, 71.4. It's made in small batches, so every single batch is very slightly different and a different strength as well. So yeah, it's possibly, I think, it's one of the strongest whiskies on the market, and it's only released, once a year. It gets bought up very, very quickly because it's a very, very popular whiskey. So yeah, it is kind of the ultimate bourbon, and it is the first bourbon I've reviewed, so I've gone straight in at the deep end, but I know a lot of you have been wanting this review. So, amazing colour, really, really dark, almost kind of cognac-like, kind of rum-like, just real kind of lovely kind of polished amber, absolutely gorgeous. The good thing about the bottle is it comes in a 750ml. So if you're buying in the UK, you might be used to seeing the 70cl bottles. Get a little bit more for your money. So right, let's give it a nose. Also, before I drink it, a lot of people on my videos have actually asked, why don't you add water to your whiskey? And I like to keep my reviews consistent. It's a simple answer. When you're drinking whiskey and you go back to taste it, if you've added water throughout your life, you might kind of go back, oh, was it tap water, was it bottled water, how much water did I add? So I don't add water, so I keep it exactly consistent. And if you were to try this bottle, if I added water and then told you tasting notes, you might pick up slightly different things from me. So I'm telling you how the whiskey tastes and reviewing it straight from the bottle. So let's give it a nose. Having said that, I'd probably recommend adding water to this because it is 71.4%. It's not a low alcohol whiskey. So let's give it a nose. And you don't even need to breathe in with this one. The flavours and aromas just jump out at you. Right. Just straight away, that kind of dark rum and raisin toffee. Like toffee apples. That spicy rye note comes through as well. Because don't forget, when they're making a bourbon, they make this kind of thing called a mash bill. So they make a corn-based spirit and a rye-based spirit, and then they can use barley, and they make it all together. So this does have rye in the recipe. So that kind of spicy rye note. It's kind of like tobacco molasses coming through. Loads and loads of kind of bark, oak, spicy cinnamon. So all kind of cinnamon bark, you know, when you get actual cinnamon wood. Get a lovely kind of corn note coming through, but kind of a burnt corn husk. So the kind of outside of sweet corn, that kind of husk. But imagine that burnt. Roasted popcorn, kind of smothered in dark rum. Really, really, really intense orange oil. There is a kind of definite orange note, but it's that kind of oil. Imagine if you were to squeeze all the oil out of the skin of an orange. That's the kind of thing I'm getting. There's just loads of kind of polished wood as well. It's just oak, 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 spicy, cinnamon. It's amazing. I don't want to go on too long, but I could do. This review could last a long time, but I want to get to the tasting. Right, 71.4%, so I'm not going to take much, because it's very strong. Right. That's a big, hugely flavoured whiskey. I mean, the strength, you can tell it's strong. You can tell it's 71.4%. Kind of almost strips a layer of skin from inside your mouth. Really, really oaky tannins. You know, if you have like a really high tannic red wine, it dries all your gums and lips out. It's like that, so you're getting all the oaky tannin straight away. Having said that, and this is the almost amazing thing about this whiskey, it is drinkable at that strength. You know, I haven't put any water in this. You saw me pour it straight from the bottle into the glass, and it is drinkable at 71.4%. Taste-wise, there's just so much there. It's insane. It's like that huge oaky resin note. Again, that cinnamon comes through. I'm getting kind of toffee, kind of rum and raisin fudge this time, pine needles. It's kind of a common note for rye. You get that kind of pine green note to it. Oh, it's really good. I need to give it another taste. Toffee apple sweetness now comes through. There's a sweetness that bourbons do have, but it's not sickly, it's not syrupy. There's a kind of a cooked lemon. There's a kind of definite citrus lemon note. The orange oil comes through again. you can kind of pick up that kind of barley note, almost kind of like Garibaldi biscuits. You know, the kind of biscuits that are quite short with sugar and raisins in. Get that kind of biscuity barley note. Kind of toffee, fudge, loads of kind of dry, oaky tannins. It's all about the oakiness, but it's not over the top. So, you know, it's balanced. I don't know how they've done it, but it's so well made. It's just stunning whiskey. I need to give it one more try. But as I say, if you're going to taste this, I recommend trying it neat, because you need to get the full flavour. But if you were to kind of drink this, you know, for an evening, you need to be adding water. It's 71%. So let's give it one more try. Almost kind of a coffee note comes through, a milk chocolate mixed with dark chocolate. It's just incredible. I could go on and on this review, but I'm not going to, just for you. And the really, really nice thing about this whiskey, actually, as you can see, I've had a little bit of the bottle. Once you finish the glass, go back to your glass about 10 minutes later, smell the glass, and you get an amazing, amazing dark chocolate smell coming from the glass. I mean, it's just stunning. And the finish, you get almost like a cooling menthol quality coming through. And it's just really long. This flavour genuinely stays with you a good couple of hours afterwards, after you've drank it. It's an incredible whiskey. You know, I can understand why it has won so many awards. Not easy to get hold of either in the UK and overseas, but well worth seeking out if you want to fork out the money for almost like the ultimate bourbon. So the George T. Stagg, I would give that a solid, it's got to be a 10 out of 10. It is a 10 out of 10. It's an experienced whiskey. It's not just a whiskey that you think, oh, I'll have a glass of that. It's a glass when you want a whole, you know, nose, mouth and body experience. It is incredible. George T. Stagg, 10 out of 10. Please share the video. Please retweet me on Twitter. I'll put all my Twitter and Facebook links in the description. And check out the Birmingham Whisky Club website as well. See you next week, guys. Cheers.